Welcome to Prana Talk TV. This is Elitam Alamin.
And Shana Dean.
Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Prana Talk TV. I'm Shana Dean, and today we are speaking with Nicolas Pilartz, who has been a Pranic Breatharian since 2012. He's the Chief Executive Officer at Breatharian World, and he is a training facilitator at the Eden Pranic Center in Italy. Welcome, Nicolas. It's so wonderful to have you with us today.
Hello, thank you for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Well, we want to chat today because we want to help educate people on what breatharianism is and what it isn't. And I know that you have created the idea of having levels, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right, levels 1 all the way up to 4, which is being completely food and water free. And I'd love to chat with you a little bit more about that. But first, would you like to share what your path has been like? How did you, what inspired you to start this lifestyle? What was your transition like?
Well, I started in 2012. I was with my girlfriend of that moment. She brought me a documentary that was Living on Light, the famous one that it's still going on the web and still available for people to get hold of it. It's very well done from an Australian Peter Straumiger. It's very well done with scientific intervention, and many breatharians are showing up. This was amazing for me, amazing information. Everything was coming to my mind. I was 41 years old, and I said to myself, oh, this is a fake news, oh, this is incredible information, I need to inquire. So of course I inquired, and I discovered that there were many breatharians who have already written books. Many videos were out there. I first looked at the videos on Supreme Master TV that was interviewing Jasmine, Ellie Tom at that period. There was Henri Montfort. So I got information on the web, and I said to myself, the more I was looking, the more this information was starting to become real and tangible, and it wasn't fake news. And so I was reading the books of Jasmine, books of Michael Werner, who is a German breatharian, and Henri Montfort, who is a French breatharian. And I said to myself, I was feeling this wanting to start right straight away, but I waited a few months to come back to my home in Italy, because I was living in Paris in that moment. And I did the process in 2012. I started in the Jasmine process. I did. It was the only one that was available to me at that moment. It was written in her book. It's a bit outdated now, because it is the 21-day process where you start with 1 week dry, and it is pretty dangerous to start 1 week dry for everyone. You need to be really experienced to go dry, to have dry days, and then you integrate with liquids on the 2nd week and the 3rd week. So I've done this process. It was my first experience, and it lasted 35 days until the 21st of December 2012. So it was normally the world should have ended on that day, but it didn't end. So my first experience was a great experience, but I was feeling weak, I was feeling tired, and I didn't feel so much pranic energy flowing in me. So I put it aside, and I went back on eating. I started with liquid food, and then slowly with solid food. And then after a year of eating, I was feeling great physically. I had a lot of healing appearing in my body. I healed my teeth because I was a smoker, so I was able to heal all my teeth. I was able to heal my back pains. I was able to sleep again. I was able to heal some parts of my body, my bones, my joints, my cartilage, because I'm a martial art practitioner, and I had a lot of injuries in my body. So all that, I was observing my healings all during this the year after this first process, that for me sounded like a failure, but in fact, with experience now, it wasn't a failure. It was a preparation. And so I did my 2nd process with Henri Montfort. He's a French breatharian. He's level 4, and he's now since 2002. So it's like 18 years now. He's out of solid food. He only drinks sometimes some water, to have a inner shower, and sometimes he takes some coffee because he's a shaman. He contacts higher realms of light and consciousness by this coffee ceremony he does, drinking sometimes. So this second process with Henri was amazing because it was so easy that for me was so different than the first one. And I understood that the first one was a preparation and a cleansing for the second one that was really easy for me. And on day 21 of the process of Henri, and he does the process only with water. Now he doesn't do the process anymore. We do it. I do it now. We do it in our Pranic Center here in Italy. We do the 21-day process on water only from day 1 to day 21, and we do also 9-day process on water for first experience. Because 21 day now we ask a health certificate. It's a lot of pressure on the body. So, and no one needs to have a process to become breatharian. So, but it is a powerful accelerator also. So after this 21-day process with Henri, he said to me I was a breatharian because I stabilize the weight, you stabilize the energy is flowing, you sleep much less. So these are criteria that are pranic nourishment happening. You are sustained by the chi. Basically, we were 6 out of 25 having all these criteria. And I was happy going on water still. And then I left the process, went back to my home family and my girlfriend there. But the energy was very much different. So there I started to lose weight again. And I understood that it's not only about what you're doing, but it's also about what is happening around you and the lifestyle and the family and the work and the friends and so many things that now people facilitators around the world are bringing into the process. It means it's not only the process in itself, it's also integration afterwards and the preparation before. But for me, it's much the integration afterwards. It's to prepare the people to understand that the process is the first step and absolutely not a beginning and an ending, but it is a first step, a first training, and that it's going to need much more time, many years to really become food free in this case. So just to finish my journey, I stayed a week more, and so 28 days on water, but I was feeling weak. So then I started slowly to tune back into food, also because my partner in that moment was not so much connected with me and not eating, so, and she wanted me to go back on eating. But luckily, everything is perfect for the universe. So a few months later, we split it. And then I was able to really dive in pranic living as much as I wanted. And then this is the moment where I stabilized level 3. So let me speak about the levels, because in that moment, 8 years ago, I wasn't feeling so much breatharian, because for me, breatharian was level 4. It means you are not eating anymore and you're not taking any juices, because juices is like food, So for me, I was feeling a bit guilty of eating, sometimes, and taking some juices, and I was feeling guilty. But I was very different than everyone else, eating a few times a day. I was eating once every week, once every 10 days, once every 20 days sometimes. So for me, it was very different, but I wasn't feeling like a true breatharian like Henri Montfort or many others that they claim they are, So I was wondering, and I was saying to myself, I was inspired of creating these levels, also because I was inspired by Qigong Bigu Qigong. It means this tradition in Chinese that they also have levels to explain what are the different manifestations of the Qi in our body. And so they have level 3 that is the same as level 4 that I created. That it means people are completely sustained by prana, and they only sometimes drink maybe a bit of water, tea, but no calories. Or maybe 1 espresso a day, it can happen, So it means less than 5 calories a day, less than 10 calories a day. That is, basically, it's amazing. It's a miracle. It's not possible for the science. So these are the level 4s, and I know at least 10, 15 of them that I met in flesh. So I can talk about the different ones. They are very, very different, each one of them, and they are beautiful and loving beings. So, and then there are the level 3 and level 2 bigu. It means you are sustained by prana, but also sometimes you are consuming and you are communing with solid food or liquid food. It can be only liquid food every day, or it can be some. I usually have mediumly once a week. I have one meal, but it's not once a week. It can be twice a week, or it can be once a month. So on a annual base, it's once a week, because I still enjoy pretty much my addiction to food, because I want to call it with the right words. It means it's an addiction. I don't want to lie to myself. For me, it's my last drug, let's say, material drug that I'm having, and I'm seeing all the benefits and all the transition I'm doing since 8 years. So I can really feel the detachment operating, and I am a very, very living person, and I've lived many, many different lifestyles, and I'm still cleaning a lot of these lifestyles to become really in harmony inside of myself. And because we're talking about inside of ourselves, we're talking about a healing process that takes part in all our atoms of all our body, that is linked to the memories of our life, but not only our lives, but also the printing of the emotions we had in our life, good or bad, the negative or positive, they are the same. We need to release so many things that are our life, that it takes so much time. And it's very important now to be gentle, and to have a process, it's okay, but also to be gentle after the process, and not to really, really be too hard on ourselves, because it's going to come back in a way or in another, and it's going to become a loss of energy. So we invite people also, if they don't feel to have the process on water, they can have the process on diluted juices also. And they can feel how, if they want, day after day, they can change and have a bit more juices or go back on water. It's very, very free now, the way we want to bring it, because we want to bring it to more and more people. And not everyone is ready, because many people are suffering some illness also. So we need to adapt the process. And this is what we do in our Pranic Center. We are having process every month, or in any process, or we have 3-4 21-day process a year. And now we are 3 facilitators in our center, and we are expanding the process in different countries. So if ever you're interested in having a facilitating program, you can become a facilitator. It's not for everyone to hold a group. You need to have a very special energy, but many people are capable of. The most important thing is to be a pranic living lifestyle. This is the most important. It is, of course, a bit more difficult than to have a program and then to have a diploma, because you really need it needs to make you joyful, and you need to also be have the profile to be in service of not only the people, but also of a higher consciousness. So my lifestyle then started in 2015. I started facilitating people. I invited Henri Montfort first in our Pranic Center. That was not the Pranic Center in that moment, but he started the process there in Italy for Italian people, and I was assisting him for his 4 years. I assisted him in 4 processes. So it was very interesting, and now he retired, but it was for me a good formation to be with a level 4 and be able to assist him. And then I started to assist myself. It wasn't planned, but it happened. I would like to do other things in my life, but until now I feel it's important for me to be in service and to launch this. But of course, I think that pranic people want everyone in the world to be pranic, and but we are the ones who are the pioneers, and we are the ones that are bringing this information. So I'm very glad and grateful that I have this opportunity to share with all of you, and you, Shana.
Beautiful, yeah. And I do want to ask you a little bit about your process, because I know you do the 21-day and also the 9-day process in Italy and also in Brazil. And then I also noticed you have one coming up in the United States.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
if somebody wants to be a part of it, how would they do that? How would they find you? And then the second part of the question is, I also noticed that you're offering these processes online. So if someone isn't able to come to you, how would they take the online process, or what does that look like? So it's 2 questions in one.
Okay, So basically, we have a remote process that we do privately, so people can do it from their home. So they can do the 9-day process and the 21-day process. 9-day process is for a first experience, or maybe for someone that wants to have a reset. He had already some experience, but he wants a reset. So 9 days is pretty enough. And 21 days, let's say this is the full package, and it's a very strong process, and it's for people who are healthy, in good and health state. So the process coming up in the United States, I just need to say, because there's it was very from what was happening, what is happening now with the coronavirus happening. Basically, I'm coming from Italy, and basically the news came 2 days ago that they are going to put me in quarantine. They put everyone coming from Italy in quarantine. So it means 14 days in quarantine before reaching the place. So basically, it was the amount of days I was staying in the United States. So it's like I had to cancel my flight to US. It was happening in. It should have happened in a nice park close to in South Carolina, and it was close to the beach, close to Myrtle Beach, close to Charlottesville. I don't know. Florence is the city, and it should have happened there. So what we are doing now is we are transforming that process in an online process. So we're going to have all the process online, and people will stay at their home, and like that they don't need to travel. And so we have people in California, people on different time zones. So we're going to have it. So if people want to tune in, the process can be done online. We're going to have it at a very reasonable price, and they can just communicate with me on Facebook, or they just can go on our website, www.praniccenter.com, and they can just contact me via email. Contact us via email. The process should start on the 13th of this month, March. So it means next week. So it's still time to book in if you want to have this process online. This will be our first group process. So I think it's if this kind of virus happens more and more, I think we will be more and more inclined to have this process online. It can be really done easily, and I think it's much more sustainable actually, instead of journeying, of traveling. And of course, we have a beautiful place in Italy where there's a lot of nature. We have a beautiful view for consciousness to expand. The home is dedicated since 5 years, so it's really good to have a group experience, because day after day, because many people can't have that at home because of family, because of their work, and they just want to relax and breathe another air and another place. So I think we'll have both happening, and more online process happening, and that's it. So
when someone's doing it
yeah.
When someone's doing it online and they're doing their own water, right? What is it that they will be receiving from the process? Do they go online and listen to talks? Are you teaching any type of energy cultivation to increase the prana, or what can they expect?
Okay, so most of it is about consciousness. So we in the morning, a daily schedule is like morning wake up. We like to have a simple walk. A simple walk in nature. This is the best exercise we ever found. We used to have 5 Tibetans, we used to have yoga, we used to have Qigong, we used to have all that in the morning. But we found it's really good to have this nice walk, quarter of an hour walk, half an hour walk, like that. People can go at their own space. They can follow their own body movement, and we can enjoy the movements of the nature and the smell and their morning awakening, and it's very good. So apart from that, we have then in the afternoon we have sometimes some qigong events, some yoga events, some stretching events, some very soft events, in order people to have a bit of movements in during the day. Because what's going to happen on water, and what is very different in between a water process and a juice process, it's you are going to have your own energy. You won't have the energy of the juices with you that is going to possess you. Like we know, it's a food. So we're going to have this water process happening. So it's going to be a very intimate and very inner process, and people will be able to step inside themselves, to step into their inner detox happening. It's not only physical detox happening, it will be emotional, mental detox happening, and even spiritual detox happening. And so we just want some people to have some kinds of activities during the day, but most of the time they will be free to enjoy their inner moments. We have sharings, one sharing at midday and one sharing at 7 o'clock in the evening. It means at the times where usually the body is used to have or supper or dinner time or lunch time, because we want people to understand that what is really nourishing us is the presence of each one of us in between us, and the speaking and the words and the consciousness happening, because this was the original sharing of human beings. Food is only something that came slowly, like a kind of a drug that was building up. But in the beginning, people were enjoying just a minute. Rafa, mi lasci la connessione completa? Grazie. And so initially only having just maybe sharing water, maybe sharing tea, but from tea it started to become more and more dense, the liquids, and then it started to become a full meal, and then the society, we are having a lot of abundance. So I find this very marvelous to have all this abundance, because it can create a lot of consciousness also. So it's because of this abundance happening in the world that pranic living is arising as a solution to go beyond abundance of food. So it means that the real idea of breatharianism is not quitting and stopping food, but it's to understand what is food is used for. And so there are moments where, like Chinese, say too much is like too little. So if you eat too much, it's like if you eat too little. So you need to find harmony in this. And if you really match your harmony, then you will probably tune in other form of nourishment. That is the basic of the nourishing. It means this feeling of love, this feeling of presence, this feeling of being nourished by the sounds, by the colors, by the thoughts, by the moments, and just in the here and now. Everything is flowing, so everything is already here and now. So when we do this process, we want people to detox all these habits that they have. And all these habits are connected to all these energies that are in their body, incastrated and kind of captured by the food. So slowly, day after day, people will have this detox of this old energy, and new energies will flow in.
Beautiful. Now, if I can ask you a little bit more about your personal journey, because you have achieved the state that a lot of people are really striving towards. So when you first did the 21-day process, the jasmine healing process, were you doing any kind of work on your higher consciousness and any time of cleansing to prepare your body? Because I know a lot of times when people start stepping more away from the food, they get physically sick. Or they just don't have enough energy in their body to sustain themselves. So there's two things happening, right? There's the level of energy, prana in the body, and also how clean physically you are. So what kind of prep work did you do, or did that come after you did the 21-day process?
Okay, so my first prep, I didn't do any prep. The only prep I had was my martial art activities that I had. So it means I build up a nice body to sustain a lot of energy, and this is why it is happening. So pranic nourishment will flow better in a body that is physically prepared, of course. But even if you are not prepared, it's okay if you have the preparation. We invite people before the process to start at least a month before, to start having walks, but not to become a martial arts or yoga teacher. You don't need to do that. But people who are physically upgraded, they have a better sustainment in the process, because the process is very challenging. Physically also it can happen. So it's okay during the process to feel the weakness. We want people to feel the weakness, but we want people to enjoy the weakness also, because when there is weakness in the body, it means the energy is used to heal the body and to open all the energy flows that are happening. So there always will be some days of weakness, and it's important for people to learn about their weakness, because otherwise they can't learn about their real strengths. To be really strong is to know your weakness. So, and enjoy this healing process in the body. It means when you're feeling weak, this is what we say, and people trust us. And then during the first days of the process, they are maybe the most challenging day 2, day 3. It's very strong because people are still with a bit of food that is left over, and they are starting to go into the detox. So we have people having even having dizziness. Some people sometimes they even faint. So we teach people how to overcome all these kinds of uncomfortable situation until the moment comes, and it happens during the 9-day process, and it happens even more during the 21-day process, that the people overcome this state of weakness and they go beyond what is the state of fasting, and they tap directly in pranic nourishment and pranic living. It means that you are because fasting, it means you're going to lose weight and you're going to feel weak and you're going to sleep a lot. And what we want is to go, and is the science beyond fasting. It means when your body is healed, when your body is feeling strong, you're feeling in peace inside, then you are doing pranic living, pranic nourishment.
Right. Oh, so valuable. And let's talk a little bit more about that pivotal point where people are not feeling well, because that's where a lot of people are right now, right? They're not feeling well. How do they work through that? Is it they need to take a step back and do more cleansing, or they need to do more pranic exercises? And so what is that point that allows you to hook more into the pranic nourishment? And I know it's different for everybody, but in your experience, what can you say about that?
So now I've seen more or less 500 people. I've facilitated. What we see is that basically people, when they come to a process, we explain them that they need to rest, and they take it as a holiday, but not a usual holiday, the holiday of their life. So it means just crash, just feel. You want to sleep 24 hours out of 24, just go for it. You don't need to come to the sharings. You don't need to come to this. I'll come and see you in your bed and see how you're feeling. The first days can be very, very challenging because people have no idea what they've been stacking up as stress during all their lives, and the process is just so valuable for just a place, to crash and just to sleep 24 hours out of 24, So we know it's not going to last so long, and people are asking, oh, I'm feeling so weak, I want to do something else, but also I feel, and we explain them that it's okay, it's part of the process to feel like that. So, and usually around day 4 and 5, it start to flip. Okay, so the energy has worked on the body has released all the toxin of the food, enough for the pranic flow for the new energy to work, and for the recycling of all the molecules and the cells have been recycled. So of course, for many people it's different. Some people don't suffer about all that, but some people really suffer about that. But it's a suffering that we explain them to enjoy that suffering, because like that the suffering will be less painful. So enjoy the pain that is happening in your body, because that pain is a healing process. And so it can be bone healing, it can be organ healing, it can be, pains can arise everywhere from the crown chakra to the feet. Many people have different lives, have different injuries, have different organs to heal. And it's not only about the organs, but also about all it's the blood, it's the lymphatic system, it's all the body basically is going to go through this. Also the senses, the 5 senses, the smell, the touch, the earrings, all this will go through a detox. And then usually around day 4, 5, or 6, people are going to start to recuperate. So if ever we see that people are not going to recuperating on day 7, and the detox is going really down, and then we can verify that people are more fasting than doing pranic nourishment, then we need, as a facilitator, to introduce some kinds of juices, liquid juices, diluted, because we want them to walk out the 9-day process or walk out the 21-day process. They need to take the flight, they need to take the train, they need to take the bus, they need to feel fit. So we're going to intervene before the end of the process in order for them to be safe, to have a safe journey home.
Beautiful. And so for people who are going to listen to this talk and are going to try it on their own at home, so I know a lot of people will, I want to make sure that we're very safe about this. So when you are feeling really bad, really tired, I know some people feel low blood pressure, for example, might have a heavy heartbeat, might feel dizzy or faint. At what point is too much, right? Where you realize, oh, I don't want to push through, or you shouldn't push through because you might be having some health issues, right? Creating some health issues for yourself. What would you say about that point where it's, yes, write it out, but be a little careful at the same time? Be
Yeah.
responsible.
Well, first, I invite everyone not to do this alone without a facilitator. This is the first, because we don't have enough information. There's not enough information out there clear enough in the mainstream for people to access. So it's better if they don't feel safe. It's better if they follow the intermittent fasting program and they go slowly on liquids and they start fasting basically. Pranic living will come as the second step afterwards. Okay, when people will feel safe fasting, having one meal a day, or maybe fasting 1 or 2 days on water and don't feeling side effects, then they can go for a water fast of 5 days minimum. Because if you want a water fast, you want it to be at least 5 days, because you want to have the down of the detox and then you want to rising up. So at least minimum 5 days. Otherwise, you're going to only have the side effect. It means only the struggle of the food, that your cravings and the headaches that are going to arise, maybe some dizziness. But if you want to have this experience, you should first have a peaceful place to have it. A peaceful place can be also your home place in the city, but you mustn't have family activities around, or your kids, or something that is in opposition with you. Because this will create a lot of conflict. You want to be able to rest whenever you want to rest. So don't do that while you're working, heavy works or things like that. It can be very dangerous. And you can do it, you must do everything in slow motion when you start doing this, and you must take really, you must limit really your activities, and really limit also your, your interaction with other people. Because people will not understand what you're doing. So don't try to convince them, because you're going to lose a lot of energy on this. This is very important to keep on your inner journey. Try to find an excuse for a couple of days, and then you can have it done. So the most important thing is the fainting. If you faint, you can really hurt yourself when you will knock your head on the floor, on the wall. So when you stand up from a sitting position or a lying position, you must wait a few seconds and feel if the blood has rising correctly in your body. Because in the first days of the detox, your energy are used to the detox process, and it's not used for your locomotion, for your movements, and for your joyfulness. You must wait that the heavy detox has been passed, and then you can feel better what is happening with your body.
Beautiful advice. Thank you. So I just want to reiterate, or just want to ask this. So you do not advise anybody transitioning to a breatharian lifestyle, or at least in this way, alone, right? So always do it with a facilitator, correct?
Always do it with a facilitator, because there are some questions that are going to arise, some doubts that are going to arise. You will have some mental detox happening. You will not you will not know what will be happening in you. You will feel like moments of madness in your. People don't struggle. They struggle more with emotional detox than with physical detox. If people are not aware of what could happen with consciousness and with mind detoxing, it means we're talking about the mind that is the master now. It needs to step down and get into slavery conditions, and we want the consciousness that is in slavery conditions now to step up and become the mind. So this process, if you don't have a facilitator around you, you can really go crazy. You can really do stupid things because you can really go high on the kind of DMT that is happening. Because consciousness is a real life force that is going to invest you. And if you don't have the facilitator to help this happening in the correct way, it's better. It's more safer.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that. People really need to hear that. And I really do hope people reach out to you for these beautiful processes that you're doing. And now that you're offering it online, more people can do it. This is great. I want to talk a little bit also about weight stabilization, because you mentioned that you were able to reach a pranic state, and then when you moved back into the home and family and all of this, that your weight started to decrease. So
yes.
when you're more pranic, your weight does naturally stabilize. So what can you say about that? Did you use a lot of programming of your mind to do that? Was that a natural process for you where your weight stabilized, needing less food?
So you have different ways of doing it. You can, if you're good at it and you know it works for you, you can use programming. You just set a weight and you say, I'm not going to go under that weight. And you just use images, or you can use visualization. You can use a picture of your best of yourself. You know, there are many ways of doing that. I just let it happen as the universe. I was open to any kind of weight happening. I stabilized my weight at 62 kilos. This was 7 years ago then. And then, but I was feeling a bit not comfortable with that weight. I was feeling a bit too thin. So this is probably one of the reasons I'm still consuming some food, because I like the way I'm appearing now. It means more around 70 kilos than 60 kilos. I know that there's a moment when you reach level 4, there's a moment where you're gonna have a weight issue, and you need to overcome this weight issue. And then normally on level 4, the mass is going to come back slowly, and you're going to have muscles coming back, and everything will come back as normal. But there can be a deep moment of unknown time of months, maybe years, where you're going to be really maybe skinny, you know. So this normally happens usually in the level 4, not for everyone. So this is why during the process, what I recommend to people is to be on the safe side. It means that what you need to stabilize in order not to go on fasting and not to go on anorexia nervosa. And because what we want for people is to be on anorexia mirabilis. It means anorexia is the Latin word, okay? So you have anorexia nervosa, and it is the fasting one, and it's the one that you're going to decrease energy and weight, and you're going to go towards death. And the other one is anorexia mirabilis, that they don't talk about because they don't know the science, but the science is coming back through breatharianism. But the Vatican knows about this science, because many Christian saints were in anorexia mirabilis or inedia prodigiosa. It means that you're no longer losing weight, you're gaining weight, and you're stabilizing weight, and you're having a lot of energy. So there you are in the mirabilis, miracle. So if you want that to happen when you do a process. So if you go raw food, it's already a process. If you go vegetarian, it's already a pranic process. You're doing it the slowest way. You're not doing for an ideology, you're doing because you're diminishing the density of the food. So you can diminish the density of the food by having some water days during the week. You can have some dry days, then you can have one meal day, you can have 2 liquid days. You can do it whenever way you want. The important thing is to find your stabilization and to find your own harmony and pleasure in all this, because it has to be pleasure. If you don't have pleasure and joy doing this, it's better for people to go back eating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. It's not a problem. We are not here to judge, and we are here to let people free, because if people are not let free to find their own way, then how can we be free to find our own way? So love is about freedom. It's unconditional love, is let everyone free. Everything is perfect. You just need to really echo this and to really resonate in this. The moment you can feel there is a bit of disturbance, a bit of fear, then you know there's something you are still working on. And this is a good way of seeing what is your conscious level of consciousness. And it's never ending. Consciousness is always expanding. So first, feel safe on your weight. I said to myself, I don't want to go under 60 kilos because I'm 180, so 20 kilos less my height I'm going to be a bit too thin for what I would like to be. So talk to yourself. Don't set a plan that is too long, like on a few months. Just set short plans, like 2 weeks is okay, 10 days, maybe 3 weeks maximum. 21 days is a good plan, because you're going to create a habit on 21 days. So if you want to do 21 days of liquid, this is very good, because you're going to set, and then you can change the plan when you reach that date. Because if you set a plan that is too long in time, then you're going to encounter failure. And when you're going to encounter failure, you're going to feel messy. You're going to feel, oh, what I've done is not for me. You're going to feel guilty and stuff like that. So this is a journey of experience. Be short, be gentle to yourself. Remember that food is not a problem. The problem is the suffering with the food. So first, the weight and the energy. These are the first criteria that are very important, is to stabilize the weight. So if you go on water, you need to stabilize weight, and you will see that many people who are on 21 days, that they lose during the 21 days too much weight. They want some juices at the end. We see the levels of weight rising up and even gaining weight at the day 21. And we have seen also, and we see people gaining weight with water on day 21. It's at least 10% of people having the process are gaining weight on water on day 21. And over 50% of people are gaining weight on diluted juices. But when I'm talking diluted juices, is we usually have 25% apple juice, usually, or coconut juice if we can, and 75% water. Just on the last week, and people just raise their energy, raise their and stabilize weight.
Beautiful. So it sounds like you have a pretty high success rate with these processes that you're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. The field of success is tangible and is raising year after year. We are having like 80% success people at least having at least 2 criteria or 3 criteria. Only 10%, 20% don't manage to finish the 21 days because or they leave in between, or they are just too many cravings of food and they were not really ready to have the 21-day process. But usually it's a very successful process, yes. We invite people to have more 9-day process now because it's much easier. It's like the information, the update of the information is that you don't need so long process to really tap into pranic living, because the new information is that you're already living on prana. So we are all breatharians. The only thing we need to deal with is the strengths of the addiction and the habits that we have built in us. So this is what, this is the only thing. So it's like all the world is tuning in now in a fasting mode and in a conscious mode about food. So it's going to happen very gently. Of course, if you want, for the warriors, you can have a warriors, female and male, of course. You can have a process, but you really don't need to have a process now. We need to understand, and everyone needs to understand why he is eating and what is behind the eating. If it is emotional eating, if it is habit eating, if it is family eating, friends eating, necessity eating, you know, there are many different kinds of appetite out there.
Absolutely. And then to motivate people, would you like to share what some of your benefits are in being more chronically fed? You mentioned about sleep, more energy, but what are some of the benefits?
Oh, it's let's say, if you want to be effective in sports, if I wouldn't be pranic living like 20 years ago when I was still doing competition in martial arts, I would have been very strong, because you have much more lucidity, you have much more, the muscles respond much more quicker, you don't have so many toxins, so the effort, you can last much longer in the effort. Your breath is amazing. Without any effort, you have a beautiful breath, because the food is going to go. When people are not aware that when they consume food, it's going to go from the hair to their toe, everywhere in their body, even in the lungs. So it's going to reduce the way people are going to breathe. So on the sports level, it's amazing. It's amazing what it does to the muscle and to your bones, to your cartilage, to your blood, to everything. It's amazing. You will have a lot of health towards that. From the benefit of consciousness, what is the main reason I'm doing this is the dissolution of suffering. There's no longer suffering anymore. Suffering about the thoughts, suffering about the problems that are arising. I enjoy having problems now because I have so many solutions coming up just because the connection of the consciousness. So you are tapping in a super brain, but you're tapping in super consciousness. So it's really what Sri Aurobindo was written. It is a divine life that is happening on earth. It is kingdom of heaven manifesting is the Holy Spirit available for everyone. It is the nirvana state. It is whatever they have called it, the name it's happening right now. And it's really easy to tap in. You really need to start the journey, and you will realize months after months, years after years, that something is happening in you that is unbelievable. The miracle is happening and is available for everyone. And the last thing I want to share also is your loving activity with your partner will be so amazing that you will be very detached, and you will be able to have any amount of sex as much as you want, with a lot of control, because there are two things that control our body and our life: is the food, and mostly is the food, and the food is going to control your sex activity. So the less food you have and the less control you have on all your body activity, and it's going to really become naturally. So naturally you are going to becoming to do tantra. I can't even say I'm doing sex anymore. I'm having tantra. I'm having exchanges, but I don't call it sex anymore.
Beautiful. Well, I know that that's really popular. There's two actually ways of thinking about this, and two teachings right now. One is, celibacy as a way of moving into a more pranic life, and the other one is becoming more tantric. So I guess you could do either, right? In your opinion?
Absolutely. Yeah. Both are available.
Beautiful.
And both are available also in the having food or not. You're food free, kind of food free. So you can decide to enjoy when, with whom, and when, and where.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about the spiritual life. Now, did you meditate your way into this process? I know you mentioned that you were doing some, energy cultivation through your martial arts, but I'm assuming that this is also with a higher consciousness, that there's a lot of meditation also, and that with that, as you become more of a pranic breatharian, that becomes stronger and more connected and a deeper spiritual experience. Would you say that's true for yourself?
Yes and no. I've read a lot. I studied a lot. Well, I changed my life when I was 30 years old. I was living in the city, Paris. I had a lifestyle as a citizen, having a lot of fun in the city. And then I changed my life, and I went to nature because I was feeling dying in the city. And then I learned about nature, and I studied a lot of spiritual books. I read the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Bhagavad Gita, and I focused on many secrets of the universe, many different science, but nothing was really a big satisfaction for me. My health was better. I was feeling better because living in nature. I live in a sustainable living. I live in a kind of yurt wigwam. So I use my stove. I use my own wood. I try to expand my freedom to even my way of living in my semi-nomadic way of lifestyle. But really what raises my consciousness was understanding that food was limiting my consciousness. And so when I started working on my food by pranic living, my consciousness just raised up. And then I understood what were the secret teachings in all the different books I've read and studied, from Buddhism to Christianism, and from Muslim to Hinduism and Jainism. And it's about the real meditation. What is the real meditation? The real meditation is not closing your eyes 1 hour, 2 hours a day, but it is 24 hours out of 24. Every second, every instant, eyes wide open. And are you really conscious of what is happening? And I understood that food is at the roots of consciousness. And when you have food inside of you, you're going to be bothered with a lot of problem that is going to happen. You are bringing a lot of war inside of your body, a lot of digestion, a lot of struggle, and all this will completely slow down your consciousness. We completely put a veil inside of it. So when you are really feeling peaceful inside of you, and you don't even need to sleep anymore, because Henri Montfort sleeps 1 or 2 hours a night. I only sleep 3, 4, 5 hours a night. It depends if I've eaten. I sleep a bit more the day after because it's like a hangover. But when I'm on prana, it's like I don't need to sleep anymore, and I have Netflix, to enjoy some movies. I have many friends who are not sleeping, and the same time I'm not sleeping, so it's okay. Now we have all this technology available. But the real meditation is, what are you dedicating your life to? Where you come from? What can you do to make your life better, and in the same time the life of the others? So now I am using my life to share this information, because I feel that if people are not happy in their life, I can't be happy. So everything is linked, and we are, when you tap in this consciousness, you are really one. So you can't be complete if no one is complete around you, because you are part of everyone and everyone is part of you. So this is why I created this festival happening every year since 5 years, the Pranic World Festival. And I said to myself, I need to bring people here and to talk about it, because I want to meet friends. I want to meet friends. I want people to meet in between themselves, because, and people answered, and then we are more 300, 400 people. It's not many people coming to the festival, but at least people can encounter friends, can see, because when people start in this journey, they're going to feel probably lonely and lacking support, because they are the only one in the city. They don't know about other ones. So, but now there are many festivals happening. There's a festival in India happening, one in Italy happening, one online in the United States, one in Romania. You are showing this Pranic TV that is going to bring a lot of consciousness to everyone, and everyone is putting a seed, and it's expanding. It's expanding. There are the national TV in Italy. They ask me sometimes to go on national TV and to speak about pranic living. You know, so it's happening in the mainstream, in the public stream. It's happening.
I'm so excited. And thank you so much for bringing up the World Pranic Festival that you'll be doing. I believe that's in June, right? June 1st.
In June.
And where is that located? Is that right there in the Eden Pranic Center, or would that be somewhere else?
So up to now, it's still happening here in our Pranic Center. We have a beautiful space in nature. People are really enjoying it. We are having all the festival is 10 days with camping in nature. And you know, Italy is famous for good sunshine and good weather, and it's not too dry, and there's humidity, and it's good. And we have a lot of 10 days of 3-4 speakers a day. Some of them are online. Most of them come. We have workshops from the morning to the evening. In the evening we have concerts. We have music. We have a raw food restaurant working for 10 days, so people can enjoy. And if they want to enjoy pizza or any kind of other food, the city is available. We have a shuttle that brings people from the train station 10 miles away to our location. We try to have the most sustainable expenses for people, like for 10 days for 150 euros people can have the camping and all the package, you know. And also the videos, we have a channel on YouTube, and each video of speakers, we put it free on the channel, like that people can enjoy if they couldn't come. And actually we invite them not to come too many, because the people here we can't have so many people. We can't have thousands of people here in the festival, but we need at least some people to come to have a spark. And we hope that spark will be Pranic spark for the world.
Right. Yeah, and thank you for mentioning about being online, because I know a lot of people can't be there. Like you said, you can't even host them, but how do they find it online? You mentioned the YouTube channel. Is there a way of signing up, or they just watch the programs as they're being posted?
Yeah, so we don't have the streaming online yet. We don't have the streaming online on our festival. We are trying to have that happening, but we don't have it. We need help. If anyone out there wants to organize this and help us, we need people to help us to organize that. But otherwise, we publish all the videos. We translate them. We have a team of translators, and we translate the videos in multi-language with Google, and they are available on our Breatharian World channel. It's called Breatharian World on YouTube, and they are free, and you can see all the videos of all the past years happening festival. Yeah, so we have a lot of material there for people.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And I will share a link to that YouTube channel underneath this in the description box. So wonderful. Thank you so much for taking this time and sharing all that you did. I think this is going to be really helpful for a lot of people. Is there any last message that you would like to share with anybody who's just starting out on this path, or is in the path and is having challenges? Any last thing you'd like to share at all? I know we covered so much, so I think a lot of it's been covered, but anything at all that comes to mind?
Yes, I just want to share that anyone who is suffering out there and who is called to a transformation, remember that suffering will not last. Even if it seems a long time you're suffering in your life, this will not last. This is only something that is not normal, that will end. And the key of suffering is how you're going to the roots of suffering is the alimentation, is how you're feeding yourself. So if you grab this information, it's not about quitting food, but it's about slowly detoxing about the food, the amount of food we've been putting in ourselves. And you will see that everything that is linked, all the emotions that are linked, all the pains and the suffering and the joys of your life, all the memories, they will release in such a beautiness that it's an amazing event that will happen in your life that will transmute this suffering in something that we call love. And you will be surprised to experience the real love of the universe that is always taking care of you in any moment, in any instant. And we are all waiting for this moment to happen, and it's going to happen by yourself with the communion with the universe.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And anyone who wants to, I'm available for anyone who wants to connect via Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp. Many people like me are supporting your journey anywhere in the world. Many breatharians are showing up. And thank you, Shana, for this Breatharian TV showing up. It's a wonderful initiative.
Wonderful, thank you. And we will share your contact information below. And I just want to say, everybody out there, thank you for joining us. If you enjoy what you're listening to, please subscribe to Prana Talk TV. Feel free to shoot any questions or comments our way so we can use them as talking points. And yeah, enjoy the journey. And thank you for joining us. Thank you so much, Nicolas. It was so beautiful sharing this time with you.
Thank you, Shana. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Keep in touch. Bye-bye.